All right, good morning, second grade students. Today for social studies, we are going to be looking at map grids. So to get into our lesson today, we are going to be looking specifically at a map that has to do with a zoo. So let's grab our pen here and let's underline that we are going to be looking at the map of the zoo. All right, so the next thing that we're going to read about and discuss are the different animals and the areas that we see on our map. So let's change our color here, and we're going to underline that we're going to read and discuss the different animals and areas that we see on the map. So in our first box at the top on the left, we see it says Fun Times Zoo and the entrance. So that's how we know that this map is going to be about a zoo. So also, since this map doesn't have a title, it just says a map grid, let's write the zoo at the top. All right, the next box over, we have the monkey exhibit, and then we have the gorilla exhibit, the hippo exhibit, and then going down, then we have the lion exhibit, and then we have a picnic area, then we have the Fun Time restaurant. So that would make sense that the restaurant is right next to the picnic area. Next, we have the elephant exhibit. And then if we go down a little bit more, we see the tiger exhibit. And then we have the ice cream stand. Again, would make sense because it's right next to the picnic area and the restaurant. And then next to that, again, we see another picnic area because of the picnic tables and also the garbage cans that are there. And then we see the zebra exhibit. And then at the bottom, we have the bears exhibit. And then they have the aviary, or like the bird exhibits. We have the reptile house. And lastly, we have the giraffe area. So these are all of the different places that this map is going to be showing us. All right, so next we're going to read the caption here that's at the bottom of our map grid. So let's scroll down here and let's read through this. So let's change our pen color again. So it says that this map is a grid. And a grid is a pattern of lines. And these lines form into squares. And so grids help you find places on the map. So if we go and look at our map, we notice that each of these lines make up individual boxes here. So we'll do one here just to kind of show us that this is indeed a map that is a grid. All right, so we talked about the caption explaining the grid, and then we also talked about how some maps have lines on them as well. And we noticed that this zoo map has many lines on it that make up all the boxes. So these lines, again, are going to form a pattern that is going to create that grid for us. And with those lines, we end up getting squares from that. Now, the next part we're going to be talking about is that these squares are marked with letters and numbers. So let's go ahead and change our color here. And then let's go back to our grid here, to our map. And we see on the left-hand side, we have the letters A, B, C, and D. And we have the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so we just read the numbers that go across the top of the map and the letters that run down the side of the map. So with these numbers and letters, these help people to locate specific things on a map more easily. So the first one that we're going to work with is we're going to find the letter A at the side of the map. So let's underline that. So again, letter A is right here. And then we're going to go and look for the number 1 at the top of this map. So let's put a box around that as well. All right, so the first square in the top row is called A1. And so A1 shows the box for the entrance to the zoo. So when you say a square on the grid, you always want to say the letter first and then the number. So we don't want to say 1A, we want to say A1, or we want to say B1, not 1B. So that's very important. So let's go and let's underline this one in red, because this one's really important, that we want to remember that when we say the grid square, we say the letter first and then the number. So for example, if we wanted to talk about the Fun Time restaurant, which is this box right here, we would go over to the left and we see we are in B, and then we would go up and we see that it would be in 3. So the Fun Time restaurant is in B3, not 3B, B3. So if you wanted to tell someone how to get to the Fun Time restaurant looking at this map grid, you would say, look in square B3. All right, and then we're going to keep working on these map grids in the future. But to wrap up our lesson, let's go through our one vocab word, which is the word grid. And so again, to review, a grid is a pattern of lines, and these lines make up the squares of the grid. All right, and that concludes our social studies lesson for today.